Let's bring in former deputy press secretary to Trump. He's Hogan Gidley. Hogan, so we saw that Trump's on a roll. What do you make of the federal judges now seeming to greenlight DOGE, ruling yes, it can work inside federal agencies? I mean, Trump's knocking out things like DEI and an estimated 33,000 public schools. He's saying you're going to lose federal funding. So it looks like judges are moving toward Trump here. What do you think?
It does, because they've ruled in favor of the executive branch acting like the executive branch in the last several presidential cycles. Joe Biden did things like this all the time, as did Barack Obama, George H.W. Bush, W. Bush, et cetera. The fact is, a lot of these things we're talking about now are created to be under the executive branch. So, of course, he has the ability and the authority to do these things. The problem is a lot of Republican presidents didn't do all that much of it. Donald Trump said, wait a minute, all the Democrats did this kind of stuff to me. They basically created all of these progressive slush funds with your taxpayer dollars to push things you don't want in foreign countries, but also to attack Republicans. I'm just going to take a pause and root it all out and expose the Democrats for what they've been doing. And, of course, the left is furious about it.
You know, Hogan, Democrats are, going after DOGE. They're demonizing DOGE, scapegoating DOGE, auditing the IRS. They're talking up taxpayer privacy and, access to taxpayer data. Elon Musk is saying they're not doing that. He's saying that he could have accessed taxpayer data when he owned PayPal. He didn't do that. They're trying to cut government waste and corruption. Let me back up. Joe Biden let thousands of IRS contractors from the outside access private IRS taxpayer data. They're still doing that. One of them leaked Trump and Musk's tax returns to the media. Nearly 24 IRS contractors failed background checks. They couldn't be vetted, but they accessed IRS taxpayer data anyway. Watch this. Hundreds, more than 220, let me back up, 260 IRS workers still can access private taxpayer information, even though they quit the IRS and no longer work there.
It's a great point, but more than that, foreign countries hacked into a lot of these systems. Remember how many times we had data breaches under Joe Biden?
China hacked OPM, yes.
Of course. And they didn't freak out at all. The Democrats didn't say anything. It was just kind of part of doing business in Washington, D.C. But as you mentioned, a lot of outside contractors do a lot of this work. The problem is Democrats don't like the fact that Republicans are doing it to them. Of all the things Donald Trump has done with the executive orders and other things, they don't like any of that. But if you notice, this is the one they're choosing to rally around. It's in support of Washington, D.C. misusing and misspending your money. It's almost like they're coming out in favor of fraud, waste, and abuse in the federal government.
Listen, I got to say this, having covered the IRS for 2 decades, the Washington, D.C. bureaucrat works for, and politicians work for the taxpayer, not the other way around. Now you got this America First story, America First Legal. The first judge, Judge McConnell, who ruled against DOGE, tried to stop DOGE. We're hearing his nonprofit got nearly more than $120 million in taxpayer funding for his, it's called Crossroads, Rhode Island. So, but shouldn't he have recused himself?
Of course he should have, not to mention the fact this is what you're talking about when people mention draining the swamp. The layer upon layer of the way these people just continue to fail upward, use government dollars to further their own political ideology. This is the problem. Donald Trump and DOGE are exposing it. It's exactly what this country needs to restore some of the faith, trust, and confidence in our federal government.
Hogan, great to have you on. It's good to see you again.